Hello, we are here with Ben, aka BMac, from Hasbro. Obviously, Transformers line. You've covered quite a few things today, though. To be fair, let's be honest.
Bit, yeah,
you were the substitute.
I had to fill in. Poor Emily got hurt right before we were on our way to come here. So the fans have pretty common knowledge that I really love G.I. Joe. So I always talk with Lenny and that team anyway. So I was able to cover that for her pretty easily. And then I just got a quick education on the HasLab. I had to bring it with me. Flew with it over here, one of two prototypes. So that was a lot of fun too. Yeah,
no, it's very cool. Just very quickly on the Ghostbusters HasLab. Awesome. I mean, that must have been quite scary to travel with that.
Yeah, it was a little bit. Just like, I threw an air tag in the bag, and then going through the airport, leaving in Boston, it was just like, you have left your luggage behind. And I was like 10 minutes before they're saying the doors are going to close, saying it's still on the other side of the airport. And I'm like, hope it makes the plane. No. And all of a sudden, as they're like, cabins prepared for departure, checked again, and it was on the plane. So that was good.
Good. So let's talk Transformers a little bit. HasLab, I've got to ask you a question. Deathosaurus smashed the target. The Transformer HasLabs always tend to do really well. As well, Unicron, Victory Saber, they've all done really well. We haven't had any real announcements yet.
Yeah, so at San Diego I had mentioned we were targeting fall for an announcement. And then at PulseCon I made another announcement saying that no, not for 2023, we'll get back to you in 2024. So we're currently targeting 2024 for our next announcement.
Having seen that, I remember you saying, is that because you're toying with what it is you're doing, or you're just waiting for the right time to drop it in?
It's a lot of different factors that go into place. It was just kind of, there's a lot of HasLabs at the end of the year, some of them being a little more expensive, so as a whole company we had to look at it. Also just kind of what makes sense for our 40th anniversary plans and how we're trying to celebrate. So there was a lot of factors that went into why things move. It's coming along nicely. Takara Tomi's done a great job. Evan's working on the deco. It looks beautiful.
So you know what it is.
Oh, I know what it is. I think fans are going to be very excited, surprised to a point of what it's going to be, because the people have these notions of things that they are saying, you'll never do this, and I think they're going to be really surprised to see it.
Okay, so there's a little hint there, as in something that you wouldn't expect. So that's cool. That's very cool. 1027, I know we spoke a little bit earlier on off camera. Out of all the reveals at 1027, for me, the Stranger Things crossover, the Surfer Boy, Pizza Van, very obscure. I know we did briefly speak, but just for the sake of the camera, how has you decide on what it is that you're going to pick for those crossovers? You've done quite a few, haven't you?
We have. Our crossover line is awesome in that regard, and Netflix is a great partner. We've worked with them very closely. There's actually some former Hasbro employees that work on that team now, so they kind of it was easy to work with them because they understand our process too. They proposed the idea. They're like, hey, we had a great season, we have this awesome idea, you guys do vehicles really well, let's create a new bot. And the Pizza Boy Surfer Van just kind of made sense. It was that iconic vehicle from the movie. We have a great relationship with Volkswagen as well. We've done a lot of stuff with Bumblebee throughout the years, so it was a very easy partnership along that collab all around to make that item come together. And I transformed her for the first time today, and it's super simple. So a casual fan, if you're a Stranger Things fan but not a Transformers fan, it's a perfect toy for you. It's it flows nicely, it's simple, but in a nice high quality kind of way, because it is a Voyager scale figure and has a lot of cool weapon accessories. The Pizza Boy logo comes off the top and becomes a rocket launcher / flamethrower. So it's really awesome toy.
The two crossovers I've got in my collection is the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Had to have that, and the X-Men Blackbird as well. That's a very cool one.
That was a great reuse of Jetfire from Studio Series and a little modifying to get X-Spans in there.
But as for an X-Men fan, it works, it looks good on the display anyway, but then to have that added extra Transformer element to it was very cool.
I mean, for me, it's the G.I. Joe Transformer collabs that I get to do every year. Those crossovers are my favorite. It's just fun, we're getting O-Ring characters out there, even though O-Ring's kind of an arrest, and we just get to make some really fun, unique things. The one that's coming out, we'll start shipping in December with Soundwave as the Thunder Machine. That was from the day I got hired, I'm we're working on this, I'm making this character. Because Soundwave's my dude, and I like G.I. Joe, and this just makes too much sense to me to not do it.
Speaking of crossovers, just kind of off the top of the lid here, at the end of the movie, we obviously got a little bit of a G.I. Joe tease, didn't we? Which way do you, I can't really ask you directly, but do you think G.I. Joes would suit better into the Transformers line, or would Transformers suit better into the G.I. Joe line?
Toy-wise, I'm not really sure what works better. Clearly we have a little learnings from the collabs of scale of how it might have to work. I think it coexists, and I think we're going to see a lot of the new comic universe, right? The new Energon universe from Skybound with Robert Kirkman at the helm. There's a lot of really awesomeness to come in that I think once the Joe books start getting out there too, fans are going to be really surprised like where it's all going to pull together early in 2024. So it's just a matter of figuring out the best way to do it and make sure the user like experience is fun. Like I don't want to cheapen out on Joe or cheapen out on Transformers. No. I want all fandoms to have that like pattern of play they want for a good time.
Because they're very different lines, aren't they? Like the Transformer figures compared to the G.I. Joe figures from Hasbro, even just specifically Hasbro, they're very different. So a Transformers figure in the G.I. Joe line isn't going to have the same playability that a Transformer in a Transformer line. So it'd be interesting. I think maybe a little bit in each.
Yeah, I mean, we've explored it. There's a model floating around the office that is a 6-inch scale Optimus Prime that you could put Joe's in, and it's massive. And I'm just like, that's going to be kind of pricey, but it was fun to play with. So.
Wow, amazing. Okay, so speaking of characters, have you got a favourite character that you've managed to get into the line yourself?
So not yet. I bring it up all the time. Sea Spray was my original first G1 Minibot from back when I was a kid. Got him sometime like 86, 87. I was very young.
Right.
So he's the one I always push for. I think I might finally have a solution, like no promises because I don't talk about like future releases, but I think I might finally get Sea Spray in there. And I know a lot of people always comment and they tell me on social, they're like, oh, you have all these redeco options. You always bring up he's a hard character to do something else with in terms of like pre-tooling or retooling. So Sea Spray I think is the one, which is funny because I'm actually a Decepticon fan at heart, but it's who I love. So it's just like, but Sea Spray is one of those characters that like, there's nothing wrong with his Power of the Primes toy. I think it was very well done. But as we've continued to update all the mini-bots, I just want to do, like, I think Sea Spray deserves to get in there as much as the rest of them do.
Okay, so Sea Spray is there.
He's there. He's
on the horizon.
Like, I bring it up all the time on the fan streams. Like, I put him in the line plan every year, and as we, like, have to whittle down based on cost and tooling and just the way the line has to work out and character selects, he always just gets pushed to the side, and it's like, next year. And I've been doing that for 3 years now.
So it's his time. His time's coming. His time's coming. Talking about kind of getting to the end of things, will Titan class Transformers continue after Nemesis?
Yep, there are more Titans. We'll reveal one this year for Legacy United for 40th anniversary celebration.
Okay.
Keen fans might kind of have an idea where that's going from the poster reveal at PulseCon. So more news on that to come, and we are currently planning another Titan for 2025.
Amazing. And since we're getting Rock Lords coming in, are there other robot series that could make an appearance in the Transformer universe?
Here and there, like we do technically own GoBots as well for everywhere outside of Japan, because in Japan it's still owned by its original creators and it's still Machine Robo and all of that. But like we've done a few GoBots here and there, like Bug Bite came in for War for Cybertron, so we're always trying to figure out, in terms of properties that we actually own and are part of the Transformers world, what we can do. So.
Okay, no, perfect. Studio Series 86, will it be continuing? And could we see a Studio Series Beast Wars, Beast Machines line in the future?
Interesting. So, Studio Series 86 will continue. Evan has, like I said in the panel, this huge document of characters we have not done. And he keeps a running list and then he moves them into the, we've put them into production list. So, like, there are still a lot of characters. Even if they only were on the screen for 1 second, it counts. Like, he can do an updated screen-accurate deco version of that character. He'll work on getting it in there. So, a lot for 86. And then in terms of like Beast Machines and other series like that, they kind of more play into the Legacy line, which I think you'll see a little of as we continue to work through Legacy United. Like how we said, we're celebrating all 40 years of entertainment as best we can throughout the year with that line. So like every series was somebody's first Transformers entry point. So we're trying to make sure that like no matter where in the 40-year history of the brand you came into it, became a fan, we have something this year to represent your fandom.
No, okay. Are there any Transformer characters that haven't been able to be made into toy form because of whatever reason? Is there anything that you've wanted to do but you just haven't been able to turn into a toy?
I'm sure there's a ton of stuff that I like can't even think of or know that the designers would just be like this, that. There's just a lot of like, there's tons of characters to still be done clearly, and we're updating. You know, everybody's getting modernized things. I would love to do some trans metals, but doing back metal now is a lot harder. It's just a process that's just not as great for the environment, so it's one of those things that's hard to come by. So is it like, do you do shiny metal deco, metal paint? So that would be a lot of fun to get some of those, like the Optimus Primal trans metal and, you know, an actual trans metal Megatron and some other stuff that's in there. So
that'd be very cool. Okay, no, brilliant. Thanks very much, BMac. One last question then before we do end. Is there any kind of hint or direction that fans should look for this HasLab without giving it away?
I mean, I'll just give the same secret I kind of gave at PulseCon and just say that it's Omega level. And I think some people are on track, some other people are not. but keep telling us what you think it might be, and you'll get to find out in 2024.
Bigger or smaller than what we've had before?
I don't want to say because it might give stuff away.
Okay,
so.
okay, no, fair enough. I won't fish for that. Thanks so much, BMac.
Thanks, man.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.